Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and we are in Season 19, Episode 6, He Delivered Me from All My Fears.
Ah, yes. From the Book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 4. I feel like this needs to be a character voice now. It's like a...
Read it in the Robyn voice.
Surviving Sister Wives preacher. Well, I was going to go with a very different route.
Oh, you do you if you've got something up your sleeve.
I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. It's different.
I feel like I've been transported somewhere else.
Maybe that's what we could do. That'll be a segment for...
It's making me want to watch 1,000-Pound Sisters.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was kind of Righteous Gemstones a little bit in there too. Televangelist preacher is what I was going for.
So I guess this is David delivering Christine.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
We're going to talk about it. I weirdly enjoyed this episode, even though... like half of it was shit we really didn't need to know.
And if it's just going to be Christine and David and then the juxtaposition of Mary and Cody's relationship, that's not a fair comparison. It's not nice to even draw that comparison.
I think I pinned down what made it enjoyable, which was that there was no Robyn.
Yeah, I don't think there was any Robyn at all.
She was in the opening scene, which was just the flashback to the last episode of her crying. And then that was it.
No new commentary. So yeah, that's why this was a preferred episode. We needed a break.
Does she not get a paycheck if she doesn't appear in the episode? Some reality TV shows pay you like that.
I don't know. The contracts are always
just
under
saying,
wraps. But
they got to be worried about poverty because she's really not bringing us enough content to... She's cut out a whole episode.
I guess you could say this episode really restored my faith in humanity.
By the way... If you all haven't checked out Robyn's Pinterest board in a while,
you know, you know.
It looks like she made a new board and forgot to set it to private.
Robbie Brow, this is your quarterly email update. If you're in here and you're listening, because we know we probably are, or something's going to get back to her, it's time to double check your privacy settings.
It's a weird board. Go check it out before she realizes that she needs to make it secret. But
a lot of World War II stuff.
A lot of World War II stories that I guess she found heartwarming. And then there's also my personal favorite was the pin about the YouTube channel with the guy who didn't have a father to teach him things growing up. So it's him doing all of these things and teaching other people on YouTube, which just felt a little too on the nose.
Yeah, a little too close to home. In a lot of ways. So go check that out. Yeah, before
we're still watching you, Robyn.
We're keeping an eye on it, Robbie Brow. But the TLC description for this one is, the Browns spend Christmas apart. Christine talks with her kids about her new boyfriend, David. In a heated sit-down, Cody blames Mary for their divorce. Janelle wants to settle the property dispute with Cody and move on. Christine and David continue to move their relationship quickly.
Didn't we just have the Browns spend Thanksgiving apart?
Yes.
Is it just going to be like every holiday? They're going to spend Valentine's Day apart.
And then
St.
Easter.
Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Easter. No, we're going to get them all, Corey.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Martin Luther King Day apart.
They did spend that together moving one time.
They did.
So we can mark it as an
very,
occasion that was very important on this show.
Very vital scene.
I'm ready to go.
Are you going to do your episode description as the preacher voice that
No.
I've come up with?
No,
too?
you know that I don't have that talent.
Oh, all right. All right, well, let's hear it.
Christine has dates. Janelle tires of living in student housing. Cody says bon voyage. Robyn's Ambien works overtime. Still kicking from the last episode.
Yeah,
she slept through the whole thing.
Zonked out.
That's why there's no footage of her.
I got to check on her. It's not safe over there.
Announcements before we move on. The first thing is, if you guys are enjoying this podcast, we have another free podcast called Surviving Reality. Right now, we are recapping Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. There might be a little Love is Blind season recap once that ends airing at the end of the month. So check that out over there, anywhere you listen to podcasts.
And we did just have our first live stream for our Patreon members, so thank you to everyone who was able to join or watch on demand afterwards.
Y'all, that's a hard life. I'm just telling you. I'm giving Tony and McKelty their flowers.
Yeah, I think we ate some humble pie last Thursday.
More so from the Patreon commenting situation.
Yes.
As a reminder, you can follow us on YouTube and TikTok at Surviving Pod. And you know who else you can follow on TikTok? Mary Brown. Mary Caroline Brown. Caroline or Carolyn?
Can't say for sure. She's also doing work over on Instagram, posting photos of Zona wearing the Fidelis necklace.
Well, it's on TikTok too, so I guess you can follow her either place. But yeah, she's got the dog wearing the necklace. Very appropriate. The way it should have originally been marketed from my sister wives' closet.
Loyal like a dog. Love to see it.
She's trolling, and I am enjoying every minute of it. This episode started out really weird because we still have Robyn crying in the intro, and there's this weird juxtaposition between what we saw visually happening and the music. Because it's Christmas time, they're trying to get us into the mood, but it's not really a joyful occasion.
But it was on the previously on, so that wasn't Christmas yet. I mean, it was Christmas Eve in Robyn's bathroom, and she was having a little mentee bee, but aside from that, it wasn't Christmas yet.
She was just mentally preparing for it.
And she was not prepared at all. But now we're going to jump in with Merry Christmas and Happy Birthday, Joey Smitty. But they left that out again. We have to distance now from that. Used to be, we didn't celebrate Christmas.
I don't think the Mormon church wants them to talk about Joseph Smith anymore.
It was all Joey Smitty, for sure.
They keep talking to us as though we haven't seen this family spend holidays apart for like 3 seasons now. And they're all in their usual groups, their cliques, as Cody would have called them. We've got Janelle hanging out in North Carolina with Maddie and Caleb, trying to remember all the family recipes.
It's hard. Yeah, you have to look stuff up. You have to sift through those recipes where there's probably some big, huge, expositionally long story about somebody who passed away or something that recently happened. And it's a lot to sift through to actually just get to the fucking recipe.
You think she's just looking at random bloggers' recipes?
It's a struggle.
Because didn't we see her call Christine already to ask about the rolls?
Yeah, that happened. It was a Thanksgiving, though.
She didn't write that shit down.
No, she doesn't remember any of this stuff. She can't be bothered with this.
We got Cody and Robyn. They're spending Christmas alone for the first time.
They're trying to say it's alone for the first time, but I mean, having Mary there the past few years, has that counted as having extended family come over? I think we're really giving ourselves a lot of credit if we're talking about it from that way.
Like having the ghost of Christmas past visit.
It's weird, yeah, having the third wheel.
Also, was she there for like 2 hours? She dropped in, she left.
Yeah, swinging by, and then she's got to get out of there.
And they got a lot of work to do because, as we know, Robyn loves to buy her children happiness with Christmas gifts, so there's a lot to wrap.
But they don't wrap stuff because Cody leaves it all to the last minute, and then he gets overwhelmed because then they would be up all night doing this because, God forbid, you wrap some presents as they're getting shipped to you and as you're purchasing along the way here. Can't do that.
So it's like a no-wrap baby shower. You just walk by and observe all the gifts.
You're just handing stuff out, yeah.
You don't need to watch anyone open anything.
Didn't put any bows on anything. It was nothing.
Was it just me or did Aurora get a small gong? Did you see that?
I didn't see the gong.
I swear to God.
An appropriation thing that's happening here? I don't know.
It's for Robyn's meditations.
Yeah, some, what are those, bowls? Not those bowls.
That house needs some of those bowls.
Not those bowls.
A sound bowl?
Yeah, a sound bowl. That would be good.
Yeah.
I get the feeling they're not wrapping anything in this house. You know what I'm saying? I think we've been under that impression for quite some time.
Well, similar things are happening at Christine's. She's got the kids gathered around. They're all in Salt Lake City. She's just very excited to be talking about David.
You forgot about Mary. Mary's spending...
I know. Mary's spending the holidays with some friends that were willing to take her in.
The whole season is Mary gesturing over to a large group of people where she says, these are all people who like me and like the person who I am. Everybody in this family has been talking about how horrible of a person I am for 19 seasons.
For real, though, she's trying to show us she has a lot of friends because it's never the same ones on repeat.
That's what I'm saying. Every time that we're seeing her this season, there are new friends that we are being introduced to.
She got rid of Jen. Jen with two N's, we know.
Jen was stereotypical. And then, I mean, obviously,
Stereotypical.
yeah, because like that's the friend. That's her go-to friend.
Exactly.
We know. Friday with friends, that means Jen. Friday with Jen. Yeah.
Singular. Friday with friend.
But your friend. But, well, Amos was on there a couple times. Good old famous Amos.
Oh, I can't wait for us to meet him. I don't think he stuck around long enough to film.
I don't think they filmed for that. I don't think they needed to. And it's a good thing.
She's got friends. She's got friends who have dogs. She's okay.
She's got friends in low places. She is the friend in a low place, I think, most of the time. But this season, it's the marathons. It's happening again.
There's nothing better for Christmas conversation when the family's gathered around than to talk about your new boyfriend who you've been dating for like a week and are already ready to walk down the aisle with.
Well, I think they've been dating. Well, no, yeah, it was probably a couple of weeks. And they've already said, I love you.
Didn't she say the beginning of December?
Beginning of December.
So we're
Christmas.
4 weeks in. 4 weeks into this relationship.
Couple weeks in.
She's already met the kids. He's already met the kids.
He's met the grandkids. He's met, they are doing introductions. There's a lot of exposure that's happening here.
Look, because McKelty was like, I got 2 of them. If someone can hold the other, that would be very helpful right now.
I don't let just
Sir,
anybody.
who are you?
I don't let just anybody hold my kids. But if you're letting Kody and Robyn hold your kids, I think you could do worse.
So she's been dating this one guy. We all know who he is.
But he's just the latest one who actually is a viable option for Christine. She's been doing 6 months of dating. And that was a struggle because most of the time she would bring up her polygamist past. And then these dudes would bail on her because they were like, what a weirdo. I can't deal with that. What is all this baggage that she's got?
Does she not lead with them on a TV show about polygamy?
I don't think she does, because I don't know if David knew either.
David knew. David's daughter knew.
David's daughter knew.
Why won't they break the fourth wall about the fact that they're on reality TV?
They don't like that.
We're 19 seasons in.
Well, because Cody did that one time when he pointed at the cameras and he said, tell the world, and we did not like that. So
that
please,
did disturb us all.
Yeah, don't break the fourth wall anymore.
I'm wondering if they met David as part of the Christmas festivities because the kids are all ready to have a debrief with her.
Aspen was ready to ask questions. Is there anything you want to talk to us about before Truly gets here? It was a very mom moment for Aspen because you got to check Christine. And we're already throwing Truly into the deep end here with this relationship with David.
Truly's already got the adoption papers ready. What are they talking about?
She's ready to roll.
Her bar is just as low as Christine's.
I thought it was interesting where it was brave that Christine was describing David as bald from a distinction point of not being like Cody. But I feel like we're kind of teetering on the edge with Cody's hairline as it stands right now.
Oh, he's a bald man.
He's a balding man.
He's a bald man who's just got a little bit of hair to cover up what's not really under there.
With denial. Yeah, he has long enough hair to cover the gaps, but there's not much under there.
All of them are just really enamored with David because of the fact that he has 8 kids. His wife, unfortunately, passed away when some of them were still very young. And he didn't bail on those kids. He kept raising them into adulthood. And in fact, those kids still like him and have a relationship with him.
That's basically a miracle by Cody's standards. It's an act of God. But there are some similarities, and Tony's going to point them out. David's still on some boomer shit like Cody.
Okay, I found Tony very funny in this episode. I feel like that's an unpopular opinion, but him saying he didn't understand most of what David talked about because it was very boomer coded.
He reminds me of Cody, and then he left it at that, and McKelty was like, no, dude, you gotta say more. You need to explain.
You're gonna have to clarify
stance.
that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that more.
Let's not put that into the universe.
Please.
What do you think he meant by that?
Cold War stuff seemed to be the basis of his confusion. I think Tony just
that was a joke.
I don't
think he was talking about the Cold War.
Yeah, I think he just needs to do some research then if he doesn't know what he's talking about. Maybe if he tried to use Heavens to Murgatroyd as a serious expression, maybe it was stuff like that. Those are the things that kind of ring true for Cody as well.
I kind of feel like maybe David showed up in that coffee shop shirt that he has and maybe started to talk about some red pill things.
That could be. Very much so.
I just don't feel like we really know David. Still, we don't really know David that well.
Well, I don't think they know David very well.
Oh, they obviously don't.
Clearly, nobody does at this point. And Christine has to deny the claim that David is a boomer, but then it just slowly devolves into kind of like a version of that scene from Kindergarten Cop where the kid's like, maybe it's a tumor. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, it's not a tumor. It's like that, where you have Tony who's like, he's a boomer.
Are you a boomer?
And
What's
Christine
happening right
has
now?
to be like, he's not a boomer. It's like that.
I love when I don't get a reference. So that really helps the pod.
Good. Okay. It's not for you.
It's just a really intense conversation about, is David technically a boomer? He's the last year of the generation of the boomers.
He's on the cusp.
He's on the cusp.
Beginning of the year, end of the year. The producer told Christine at one point, no, yeah, he is a boomer. We checked his birth date. And Christine was kind of coming to terms with
Christine's like,
that.
you know his birthday?
Oh, weird. Can you let me know what that is?
We haven't gotten to that question yet.
Oops. I do love him, though.
No, but the thing about this is it leads to Mary and Cody bonding over something without being in the same room together.
They didn't even know. They're 80s Gen X nostalgia, drinking from the hose.
The Latchkey Kids.
Duran Duran. How about Depeche Mode? Because that was the concert that made him want to move away from Vegas, right?
Yeah, they
Little
really
flashback.
do love 80s music.
Oh, yeah.
That was the concert that they were at the night before the shooting happened in Vegas.
Kind of a big moment. Led to, I almost called it the Flea High move. It's not the Flea High. You had to flee from Vegas, though, on their own terms.
That's something Cody probably could have asked about on a date with Mary.
Less questions revolving around starchy vegetables and more questions around what are your interests?
What kind of music do you like?
Yeah. What can we bond over here instead?
I was getting weirded out at first because most of the kids are very supportive of the situation with David.
Well, of course, McKelty has no grounds to stand on to say, you're moving a little fast with this relationship, I think.
A December wedding, perhaps?
Oh, is that in our midst now? Is that what
We
we're
could do it
throwing
in
around?
a couple of days. We'll throw it together.
Probably. I think it would be better.
What was the story about how she proposed to Tony after 2 months?
Yeah, because Isabel is the only kid here who's going to start raising some concerns. It's moving very fast. Thank you. Yes, somebody's finally going to come out and say it. McKelty shrugs it off, though, because she proposed to Tony within the first 2 months of them dating. I guess she knew.
Did we ever hear that story before?
I think that we have.
It just feels very on point for McKelty to have proposed to Tony.
Yeah, I did like that Isabel had to kind of take a moment and say, yeah, we're not talking about you, though. We're talking about Mom.
This happens a lot.
I feel like that's a sentence that has to be repeated often.
You know what was a literal Christmas miracle? That we had Peyton and McKelty in the same room and that we heard anyone else speak.
Christine knows how to manage that. Yeah, she's had a couple years of experience of how to navigate that sort of scenario specifically. I liked when they were arguing, though, about teasing David over his age. Maybe you can tease him about being 60 when he's 60 if you guys are still dating. Because I think it started off as an if, and then Christine was trying to guarantee that they were still going to be dating. But I don't know. Technically, if you're married when he's turning 60, are you dating anymore? Technically? Was Christine right with that guarantee?
She knew she wasn't letting this man go anywhere.
We'll still be dating when he's 60? I don't know. I think if you're married, are you dating?
Too long of a timeline for an engagement. We can't court for that long.
No.
Why is she still in that mindset?
This was my concern, though, because then we're kind of seeing like a repeated pattern here of, I can't remember if it was Aspen or if it was Isabel who was pointing out, she met Dad, she met Cody, she liked him, she married him, and that all happened very quickly. Then she was miserable for about 30 years, and then she left. So maybe can we try to assess this relationship with David, get to know a little bit more than
we should
the
spend
first
some
time.
more time in the beginning phase of the relationship.
Yeah, and just kind of experience that.
Our freaky bitch ain't going to do that,
Not
though.
so much. No. We're on to physical affection and
Of
PDA.
course. It got to date 3, and she was like, I can't go much longer than this. And so now the kids are getting a little weird out because there's a lot of PDA going on between her and David, and they didn't even see that between her and Cody.
Yeah, because it turns out Cody doesn't like PDA. Well, he used to not like it, but now he likes it because it's with Robyn.
Oh, he used to not like 3 of his 4 wives.
Well, I think he
He
used
liked
to.
Janelle, Janelle wouldn't put it out in
Not
public.
Publicly. Yeah. It was all very private displays of affection. Same PDA, but different PDA. I think for Cody, what he liked was engaging in PDA with Robyn to make his other wives jealous. But now that his other wives have left, kind of lost its luster.
That spark isn't there anymore for him.
Yeah, it just took the edge off now. It's just, it doesn't have the same appeal that it used to.
She is semi-unconscious most of the time from what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, could be. So, yeah, it's just not the same.
I did not love when the kids are bringing up the whole thing about the timeline. And again, they're being like very, very, very nice about this by telling her it's pretty fast, not going to lie, but we're not telling you to slow down or anything. And
we're just explaining that from an outside objective experience,
we're parenting you.
It's moving very fast.
Do you remember saying this to McKelty?
Yeah. You remember that not having any effect on her or her decision, though, too? Yeah. I remember that, too.
I just hated when she responded. They're all in the same room together. They're hearing this. Even little Truly, who's 14, who is the one who's going to be most impacted by this because she is going to have to live with David. Hearing her say, well, I wouldn't slow down even if you told me to.
Okay. Well, that's concerning.
I'm just saying, I feel like Christine got a lot of support from the audience at the time because everyone was just so happy to see her leave such a horrible situation with Cody and find happiness.
And I'm with Isabel. It was too soon, man. There's a lot going on. This is big stuff. I don't know if we fully processed through everything about our divorce and then the dating that took place. Was there enough dating? Is 8 people enough people to put distance between you and Cody? I don't know.
We need to go back to therapy because I do think that she was in therapy at one point before she left Cody. It just felt like she was. But then we hear that story again about how she knew David was the one because they've already been telling each other they love one another. That was 1 week in.
Just barely over 8 days into this.
Let me be real. They fucked and then that's. Come on.
Yeah? Is that the end? You have to love me to...
I think it happened after the first time.
You have to love me to have me.
No. I think she...
It was a follow-up.
It was... Yes.
David didn't really say it first. He kind of screamed it first. While she was riding him.
She imprinted on him.
But yeah, we get the whole hearts racing, Christine's first breath storyline. Can we please this doesn't have to be so magical. It's the storybook, just fairy tale bullshit stuff that gags me with any of these descriptions.
Does it?
It does. Not in a good way.
Not in the way that, not in the way David was gagged.
No,
on
not
that
at all.
Fateful night. Yeah, she is making it sound very romantic. Our hearts synced up together and we're beating at the same time. Girl, that's called co-regulation. And it's actually something you can look up. It's a scientific thing that happens between mammals.
Oh.
Just like mammals eating their placenta. It's natural.
Every mammal does it. Co-regulation. You heard it here first. Every mammal does it. Yeah, I think it is a good idea to get Christine back into therapy because the last therapy reference that we have is that she made a list when they were working with Nancy. So this is probably back in Vegas.
I felt like this was on that anniversary trip that they went on together. That was just a disaster that they brought Nancy.
The Texas one.
Was it Nancy or they bring Pat?
They brought both.
Okay. And this man didn't know the marriage was doomed.
Yeah.
You had 2 therapists come with you on your anniversary trip.
Yeah. It wasn't friends of the family who were coming to celebrate with you. No, this was people were working overtime to try and figure out what's going on. Christine made her list of an ideal partner, and Cody checked none of those boxes. Shocker.
What do you think Nancy's response was to that?
I don't think Nancy should have said anything. I think she probably said, make up that list. Go ahead and work through that. And then talk about that with Cody. See where that gets you. See where that conversation takes you.
Just soak in it for a while.
A little bit.
It took her another couple of years to get to this point.
But now it turns out David is everything on her list and more. 2 thumbs up, right? As usual. Ta-da!
The unveiling of David was ridiculous.
I think it's actually pronounced Tater. Tater.
Tater Farms.
Tater Farms. Tater Farms? Tater. But then the rest of the episode is basically just Christine and David being smitten with each other. That's the rest of their storyline for this entire episode.
Don't care. Next week, they're going to look at wedding venues. This is just absolutely ridiculous seeing how fast the timeline actually moved in this relationship.
This was what I was worried about because I was backing into this as it was coming up in real time, and these were my concerns. A lot of people were saying, stop, don't say no to this. This is good. Christine knows what she's looking for. I think she wasn't spending a week in the pods. It wasn't Love is Blind. There wasn't that much deep conversation, I think, that was happening in those 8 days to be infatuated and in love with this person in this way. I don't know, you guys. I think there's still a lot of stuff in there. I hope she's okay. I hope this is good. It seems like it's all right.
Oh, come! They've been together for a while now.
I understand.
It's not like it was an immediate disaster.
I understand. It seems like it's okay. I still would have probably just hit the brakes on it just a little bit.
I don't think that you get to know someone that well in that period of time.
That's what I'm saying.
Knowing their character and what they're like in certain situations. Nothing has happened in your relationship in 4 weeks.
You know that he's gone through a lot. You weren't there for when he was reacting to all of those things and how he got through. You saw what happened at the end result here, but it's just, yeah, how did we navigate that? That's the stuff that you don't know until you actually get to it.
She just feels like as long as she has someone who is going to express their attraction to her, that they love her, all of the things that she was missing in a relationship with Cody, then she's good to go.
You're going to tell me, though, as Christine Brown, you didn't know how important physical affection was for you in a relationship? I'm sorry? We knew from watching the show.
We did, hon.
But they're moving fast. They're not slowing down. It's whatever. We know where it ends up, so it's fine.
No, the more important story that we did not spend enough time on is Janelle chatting with Maddie and Caleb about what's going on with Coyote Pass.
I like that they're having this discussion over a puzzle, so I'm always down with that. That's great.
Very wholesome.
They're on the hunt for some land, whether it be Montana, whether it be anywhere but Coyote Pass.
They have a new dream. They're going to build a house. They're going to have a hobby farm.
Hobby farm. So is that going to be like Whitney from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
Oh, 1,000%. That's a hobby farm, too.
That's pretty much what's going to be going on here. Well, Hobby Horse might get you one step closer to some other hobbies, perhaps. Maybe they could set up a track.
I tell you, we have upset the hobby horse community.
Oh.
We got to be careful. What about hobby farmers? They might come for us, too.
Hobby farmers and hobby horsers?
You know what? That's what we need next season. It's the season of wives finding new hobbies.
Janelle's hobby is about to become being a paralegal because
she's got no money to pay those bills she needs a lawyer.
She has no other way out of this. She's been trying to talk to Cody about maybe you should just buy me out of my portion of Coyote Pass. That seems like a very logical way to address this because as it turns out, Cody's a little light on funds when it comes to Coyote Pass. He doesn't have enough money.
He's claiming he doesn't have enough money.
He's all tied up. His resources are stuck in his business, probably. Just like the same issue that they had when they were not able to grant Mary's loan request to buy her B&B.
If we were producing this show, I would have watched their entire Christmas, Cody and Robyn's Christmas, and then just had a running total in the corner of how much they spent because I guarantee it was a big chunk of money that could have gone to paying that land off.
Would have got you close, at least. Yeah, a couple other paintings that have popped up in some of the artwork and some of those
fucking bear sculptures. How many of those do you think were under the tree?
Bear statues and figures that were all over the house. Yeah, we could probably tally those up. It adds up quick is what I'm getting at.
So she gave him an option. How about you buy me out? You won't have to worry about me bothering you anymore about what's going to go on with the land. And nothing has happened. So it's time for her to call all the lawyers that she possibly can.
And Janelle is looking to saddle. But in pretty much every single way. Yeah, she wants Cody to just buy her out. And she's sick of living in student housing. You have to move every semester. It's moving stuff to a storage unit, from a storage unit. Here, there, back and forth.
You know, you got to buy furniture that fits into this floor plan, this space.
Every time you move, then it's, this desk doesn't fit. Where's this gonna go?
She's tired of that little 2-person table we were making fun of.
We can't do it anymore. She just wants to settle in somewhere, buy a couch, and have that be the couch that you have for the rest of your life, because you know she's not going to buy another fucking couch. She keeps moving the same busted-ass couch everywhere.
I want this dream for Janelle.
She wants to get those boot lamps out of storage, man. They need to be on full display.
She does have a lot of stuff in storage that we got to see again. The boot lamps especially.
Build a house. Get them out of those boxes. Let them breathe. Kick them around a little bit.
Hopefully she can build a house where she gets a special area to display them. If it's going to be a custom home, why not?
And you can't have these dreams if you're sitting around waiting for Kody to pay for Coyote Pass. So, we're going to have to look into legal action.
And she's going to have to pool resources with Maddie and Caleb because she knows she's not going to walk away with enough money to actually make this dream come true for herself. I thought that was unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you get when you go into business with Robyn and Kody Brow.
There better be more of this conversation in future episodes.
I'm ready for the Janelle and Mary conversation.
Yes.
That's what they're going to have to team up. That was from the preview, so don't forget about that. That's going to be coming up.
Yeah, we really are flying through a lot of what we saw in the season preview.
Yeah, well, it's just for the first half, so there's going to be more.
I know, but we're really getting there. This conversation was one of them. We've been waiting for it. So we have Kody heading over to Mary's house, and he's not there to blame people, but he is there to accuse her of gaslighting him their entire marriage.
What is this? This is like post-divorce breakup conversation, but weird. We couldn't get a handle on what this was initially. I think I have a pretty good idea at the conclusion of this, but before we get into it, there was a little bit of a timeline check. I think we had Kody and Robyn's breakup at Coyote Pass with Mary too. Mary happened to be there as well. Luckily. So that was like October of 2022. And then Mary's announcement of their official divorce was in January of 2023. We're under the assumption that that was probably after the church had granted her release, just from the verbiage that's included in there, where she was talking about the termination of their marriage relationship.
And she uses the word termination in this conversation as well.
She's the Terminator. See, it's just a whole episode of Schwarzenegger stuff.
Great.
So it's good. The other thing that happened, so we were trying to figure out like where this actually lands between there, because Cody's talking about how fast this is all happening, the release from the church and things like that, because that was probably, I'm sure Mary was already leaving voicemails or calling people while she was driving away from the conversation at Coyote Pass to get the ball rolling on that release.
That's why she didn't have time to call Janelle and Christine and let them know that she had just left the family.
Yeah, I guess so.
She was busy calling the church leaders. But to put the whole timeline together, I do think that the release had not happened before Thanksgiving. They invited her to Thanksgiving. She said, no, thank you. I think that he found out sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And he's coming over to the house to talk to her about the end of their relationship, but that's not really what's going on here.
No, I think he's trying to convince her to come to Christmas. And so this was his last ditch effort to try to give Robyn the best Christmas present that he can get, because he doesn't actually have to pay for it either. It's
free 99.
Just Mary showing up at her doorstep with a Rice Krispie turkey. Because you can't put a price tag on that. You really can't.
She's irreplaceable, turns out. Mary's going to move to Parowan, which is news to Kody because he thought that she was already living there.
Doesn't seem like news, though, because he did bring his moving gloves. He had them ready to go.
What was with that?
Maybe
Do you need to move anything today?
He could have been peeling logs, maybe. Maybe he was peeling some logs.
You think he has some things left over at Mary's house? He was just there to pick the boxes up?
Oh, that could have been a thing, too, yeah. I like the look of vindication on Cody's face when she said that she's moving to Parowan, because he was like, I knew it.
I knew eventually you were going to move there. That was your motive for buying that place.
Been telling me for years that you're not moving to Utah, but here we go. Lo and behold, moving to the B&B, huh, Mary? We get a really distorted view on Cody's approach to love. Yeah, I don't know if you knew this already. It's pretty fucked up.
What was he trying to explain? If he falls in love with a woman,
yes,
it's their fault.
Yes.
So that means the inverse must be true.
I thought this was weird. I didn't realize there was so much assigning of blame when it comes to love. That was a weird connection point that I wasn't used to hearing.
I really felt like this went back to the toxic belief system that they come from, in that a woman's behavior is so important in attracting a man. He is acting as though women entrap you into love.
Yeah, or at least getting into foot stuff, because I don't think he was expecting that. Is he rubbing Robyn's dogs?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I already forgot. I literally, my full body, I recoiled watching him talk about servicing the woman that he loves.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Sorry, it was serving, not servicing.
Oh, serving. Serving.
But I think he went both. We don't know what Robyn's into. I feel like it's missionary, but only, strictly. Although they did have that knowing look about 69.
Yeah, they did. There's some exploration that happens there. I don't know. I just feel like they need soundproof walls.
In the She-Ra Chateau?
In the She-Ra Chateau. Not for Robyn. I feel like Cody is very vocal.
Oh, God. I can't.
I'm sorry.
I cannot talk about it anymore.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like.
What is he saying? Now I've got to ask.
No, I don't think he's saying anything. I think it's just a lot of
sounds.
A lot of exclamatory sounds.
Mammal vocalization.
More, yeah, and like, oh!
Okay, don't stop it.
Oh! A lot of that.
Just bracing himself.
Oh!
Stop. Okay, I'm going to vomit. So blame yourself if I don't love you. And also, I'm not going to help you take your groceries in unless I'm in love with you. That was one of the things that he does when he's in love with a woman. He listed that along with rubbing their feet.
So that's kind of a weird thing to line up in the same category, I think. And also it's just, okay, well, so then you're not going to contribute and help take care of a household then if you don't have loving feelings for this person. You're going to withhold affection and care for this person if you don't feel love? Romantic love?
Yeah, he did this at Christine's house.
Yeah, he did it at every house.
That's why she couldn't get any help out of this man.
Janelle didn't really notice because there wasn't really a whole lot of romantic love between them anyway, so I think it took her the longest to realize.
There was some loving going on.
There was
just
loving.
Not romantic
right.
love.
Yeah.
Animalistic.
Pretty woman love. No kissing the mouth.
That was a rule at Janelle's
That was a rule.
house.
That's a fact.
I mean, rightfully so. There was a lot of cold sores going around at that time.
Oh!
He's not doing a very good job of setting up the invite to Christmas because
this is not the best invite plan.
He cannot get his mind off of what the church leader said to him. And he's really upset with Mary because he didn't abandon her. He offered her a solution. He would just continue to fake being in a relationship with her.
Fake it till you make it.
Is that also part of the vocalization that happens in the bedroom?
Oh, maybe.
Maybe in
Probably.
Mary's bedroom with him.
But this is where Mary was like, is this a fight? Because I didn't invite you here to have a fight. Because it sounds like you're trying to fight with me, and I'll just end the conversation if that's where this is going.
This poor woman was like, what the fuck is... First of all, I invite this man over. He opened the door like he still lived here.
I didn't like that. Yeah, he's a little too comfortable here.
You're my ex. You don't just open the unlocked door. You need to knock.
Well, and there's a lesson for you too, Mary. Lock that fucking door. You lock that thing and you let him walk into it. He'll just bash right into it, bounce off the door there.
I don't know. He might break the knob like he almost did at Janelle's house.
Oh boy, yeah.
He doesn't want to be held accountable. And that's what happened in the conversation with the church leaders. It's his fault that she left. So this conversation is his attempt to flip the script, I think. Because he doesn't film anything with Mary without there being a motive behind it.
Yeah. And right now, he's not really getting a reaction out of Mary because she's basically talking about shutting down the conversation. So now he's going to have to try a different tact. He's going to have to reframe this a little bit. So he's asking, well, how do we move forward now together as a divorced couple? And Mary has to explain to him the concept of divorce, where there is a separation and we are no longer together.
We lead two totally different lives now, just like we kind of always have. So not really sure why you're not understanding that concept.
Well, I think that's why Cody doesn't understand the difference between divorced and married now. Plus, also, I think
I'm sorry, just to that point, because you abandoned her a long time ago.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there is no difference in how I would interact with you. So that's weird to me and confusing. Plus, I feel like there's just this other element of Kody is now interested in Mary again because she's told him that it's over. There's like this avoidant detachment style that's happening where now that she's rejecting him in this way with the official divorce and the release, now he does kind of like Mary. I have respect for you that you've stood up for yourself. Finally.
That you let me treat you like shit for over a decade.
No, I didn't like that. That was where I had no respect for that Mary. But this Mary, I'm kind of attracted to. I'm kind of into this. Maybe we should start dating again.
Do you like Depeche Mode?
I've got tickets to a show. No, this is just Kody still wounded from the phone call from the church leaders where they said the A word and not the A word that he deserves.
I think they did. I think they said a couple of words that he took issue with.
There were a couple of other A words that popped into my mind that we probably could have assigned.
He knew that this was coming. That's why he said that whole thing about not respecting the church leaders. Actually, now that we know, that was probably filmed after they said something to him.
Pretty wild how he was shocked with how fast this all happened.
Right.
So suddenly, Mary, why did you push this through and I didn't even get a chance to respond to anything? Whose fault is that? Did you check your phone? Did you answer those messages? You could have been there. I told you when the meetings were.
I'm starting to question. We need to see how many unread notifications there are on Kody Brown's phone, because we just heard the story on the podcast that Janelle and Christine did about how Gwen got hit by a car and Kody did not answer the phone, didn't come to the hospital.
This wasn't recent, though. This was, so that was like November of 2021.
She's okay, y'all.
She's okay.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so you didn't miss anything. This is older news, but it's becoming more relevant, I think, based on these phone history items. Maybe Robyn has installed some sort of Disney phone parent sort of thing on his phone, and he's not even aware.
He's not receiving the text.
These calls, these texts, they're just going straight into the abyss. Who knows?
No, she probably has his Apple ID connected to an iPad somewhere, and she just deletes things as they come through.
Whoop, whoop. That's going to upset him.
While she's on Pinterest.
Yeah, that's going to upset him. Whoop. That just goes right into that folder. Bye-bye.
She doesn't want to hear about it for the next 3 to 7 days.
Absolutely not. Yeah, we have plenty of things planned. Aurora has a big hobby horse competition coming up, and we do not need these types of distractions right now.
She's not going to place. It's too much pressure. We can't give her anxiety before she races.
We can't come back with bronze again.
This man is confused because he was told that he abandoned Mary, but then also he's not allowed to leave a wife. So what are you supposed to do when you hate a woman, but you can't divorce her?
But then also be upset with how fast she leaves, too. From like that Ethan Plath sort of standard of, whoa, we really jumped into this. And it's like, well, I think the relationship's been over for a while, and you're just coming around to the concept that it is over now.
I continue to be confused by the fact that no one in this family seems to understand the rules of their religion. Because Mary was annoyed when she found out that he can't leave a wife. That's not fair. They both should be able to leave a relationship if they don't want to be in it. Is there a book? Is there some type of instructional manual that you get when you join the AUB?
The Book of Mormon?
No, we need like a list of rules because apparently it differs depending on
COVID rules?
Like COVID rules, exactly.
What does the nanny do in terms of divorces? Well, I guess the better question is, what does Sonny and Cher do in terms of divorces? Because we find out
Kody has been rattled by divorce since 1975.
So are you telling me that it is now part of the Sister Wives canon that the reason why Kody did not want to leave Mary is because he didn't want to emotionally navigate his emotions about the Sonny and Cher divorce? Is that what you're telling me? And as a producer, I feel like that's how you needed to give that back to Kody and then film his response to that. Because that's what you needed to keep in.
We could have got him talking about that for a really long time.
This is just ridiculous to tie it back to that, where trying to mentally process that divorce at age 6 was too much for him. Okay. Cool.
It's the first couple he knew that got divorced.
Maybe
that always impacts people.
It's just like for the 90s babies who had to deal with Amy Grant's divorce. It's the same sort of trauma.
Okay, I'll take your word for that.
Carly has no idea. It's okay. That's okay.
Christine did him a favor by just voluntarily leaving. He knows that. He would have had to do the whole thing with Mary, and he got part of the way into it, and it was exhausting.
It's a lot of work.
The playbook is long.
And maybe it is good that it went so fast. It just flew by without any of his input. But then that means that he didn't get to slow down the process. He usually likes to be kind of the wedge that just slows things down. He needs to have his input and his say to feel like it's not going anywhere for a while, that we're just spinning our tires here in this process.
Devil's advocate, though, I feel like he could have had an argument if he had come back and said that the catfishing was the end of their relationship.
That would have been a great defense. Instead, he led with the Sonny and Cher defense. And I don't think that lended too much credence with the OB crowd.
You had something that you could have pointed to, and you chose just to ghost the whole situation and then get upset at their final determination.
I wasn't included in this process because you refused to participate, sir. So again, Cody's still trying to wrap his mind around the fact that separating from Mary as exes, as divorcees, means that he does not have access to her anymore. He's dreaming up these scenarios where he can eat his cake and have it too, I suppose, where he's hoping that Mary can be happy or excited about something and call him up and share that with him. Why? What?
Remember when she bought the B&B and you couldn't be bothered?
Yes. That you tried to stop her from, that you shit on the entire way. You just want to be invited to another ribbon cutting ceremony? Is that what it is?
He wanted to see the final remodel of the carriage house.
Oh, it's still a cliffhanger. He's never going to see, just like we're never going to see it.
Apparently we are. Mary claims that mark it on your calendars, November 3rd.
Oh, man.
Is that a Sunday? Because that means that it would be part of the show.
Is that?
It is.
It's coming up. Okay, in the next couple weeks.
It.
So after she moves, she's going to be back at the Airbnb, and then we're going to get the big reveal. Wow.
Can't wait.
Great. That's going to be awesome. Fantastic. I think Cody forgot for a minute that comparison is the thief of joy, and those are words that he normally lives by, because he was kind of realizing as he was rambling on a couple different topics that he kind of trailed off in here. His marriage with Mary was bad, and he realized it was bad because he had such better relationships with Janelle and Christine,
who he also never loved.
But they left too. And he was so close to putting accountability on Robyn because it's like, okay, what was the thing that changed in that when all of those relationships kind of fell apart? We almost got there because you listed an inventory of your first 3 wives, but there's another one in there.
It's that the women changed.
Right. That must be it. That must be the answer. They get to choose, and I don't.
I need them all to go request a release just because I want to hear the defense, because he has to have learned from the first time. He's not going to just not show up and plead his case.
He's going to be too busy fucking and fighting. Effing and effing.
I believe it. I believe that was the basis of Cody and Mary's relationship.
You can build a lot on F and F. And I just hope that's not the basis for Christine. I don't think it is. Christine and David.
No, they're not fighting. They're just one
fucking.
effing.
They're just fucking. Single effing. But Cody was speaking with his hands a little too much this episode for me. It was the smashing of the fists, which I don't know what are you fisting? The fist on fist? What is this? No, it's just, and when he was talking about the emotional depth, he was
interlocking.
The fingers were intertwining, and there was too much hand talking from Cody. And in the circumstances that I did not need gestures to represent physically what he was saying. I thought it was going to be the Always Sunny. It's just that angle. But I think we can tell the basis of the conversation is it's kind of shifting now, where he was just trying to wound Mary in a couple different ways.
That's how they speak to each other.
Yes.
Mary stopped doing it, though.
Yeah, she's not taking the bait like she usually would, because normally she would get fired up and then throw something back at him, and then he could say, wow, these ridiculous things that Mary says that hurt me all the time. So I think she did a good job of kind of controlling her emotions throughout this conversation. She did a much better job than I would have.
She knew that he was going to say a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, because then we started in on some philosophical debates of marrying the wrong person at the wrong time. Was it the wrong person? Was it the wrong time? What came first?
It was a long time.
It was a long time.
30 years.
That's a problem.
You could tell someone
Probably bring it up.
before you get to that point that
Yeah.
you have some regrets or you're questioning whether you made the right decision.
Yeah, so then that becomes the debate for a little bit there. But that was where he's talking about how he likes her now. And Mary's trying to point out, well, yeah, I wish you would appreciate the awesome person that I am now, because that's something that you don't know. You don't know me.
I like that she added that in there.
Yes. What was the real gem here, though?
Bon voyage, Mary.
Well, that, and then also Cody saying that he doesn't take Robyn's opinion into consideration.
Oh, yeah.
That was rich.
That was the whole conversation about Christmas. So
that was rich.
he's clearly only inviting Mary to Christmas because Robyn has asked him to do that.
Mm.
And Mary knows that. He doesn't really genuinely want to spend Christmas with her. But he's denying that Robyn is the reason why he's here.
And Mary was laughing at him when he's dismissing these claims. Well, if that's what you think, then you don't know me. You don't know me like you think you do.
Well, you don't know me either.
Yeah.
And guess what? Not your problem anymore. You don't have to know me, and I don't want to know you. That's what happens when you're divorced.
You're a man of your own mind, but it is not a sound mind. And so that's all yours. Yeah, that's for you. Bon voyage, though. Good luck on your journey. It's your journey. You do you, boo.
Next episode, Cody helps Mary prepare to move away, and they joke about their divorce. Christine and David look at wedding venues after only 2 months of dating, which leads her kids to thinking things are moving too fast.
I agree. It is moving too fast. But there's no stopping it now. We got a real back to the future situation here if we're going to try and go back in time and stop that. What timeline would we end up in? I don't know.
It's impossible to know on this show.
Yeah, who knows?
It really is.
You might end up in a timeline where everything is just sepia tone, and it's scary there.
Wait, will they sepia tone the wedding venue since we already saw it?
Technically,
They should.
they should be doing all of Christine and David's storyline completely in sepia tone. I would like to make a petition for that to happen because, well, the whole season actually technically is in the past because we jumped forward for Christine and David's wedding. I already saw it.
Just with the whole thing.
Everything. All of it needs to be sepia tone.
Thank you for listening. If you want to support us, the best way to do that is by subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Be sure to chat with us about the episode on our Discord channel by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod.
Stay tuned, share with friends. See you next time.